At the start of the year, Martin County swore in its new sheriff. Sheriff John Budensiek, a 27-year veteran of the sheriff's office, saying he was elated and also felt the responsibility that came with following former Sheriff William Snyder.
I feel elated in one sense, but I also feel the responsibilities that Sheriff Snyder has tried to explain to me for years, but you just don't know what it feels like until you're the man in the moment.
Now we are sitting down with him to hear how the early days of his time as sheriff are going and what he wants for the future of the office to look like. Let's go on the record.
From WPBF 25, this is On the Record with Nathalie Pozo.
Good morning and thank you so much for joining us as we speak with Martin County's new sheriff, John Budensiek. Sheriff, thank you so much for being here. A special thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Well, good morning. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you for the invite.
So we have lots to talk about this morning, but first, you were sworn in the first week of January. How's it going so far?
Well, as I said when I was sworn in, I feel the responsibility, but I have a lot of support. I have a great agency that I inherited from Sheriff Snyder, and then everywhere I go, our community is backing us. They back what I do as a sheriff. They back our deputies. They give us a lot of support, which enables us to go out and get the job done and protect them.
And you have said that you really do want to follow in Sheriff Snyder's footsteps. Is there something that the former sheriff did that you're like, this is absolutely what I want to do? And are there some things that you're saying, I'm going to do a little bit different?
Well, keep in mind, I was a chief deputy for several years prior to becoming the sheriff. So the sheriff, about 5 years ago, predicted that he wasn't going to run. And he allowed me to sort of start running 5 years ago. And with that, even though we were getting ahead of ourselves a lot, he allowed me to make decisions at the sheriff's office that if I were to be the sheriff would go my way essentially. So the sheriff had been through a rough campaign back in 2011, and we found that when he transitioned in as a sheriff in 2012, it was extremely disruptive to the agency, and ultimately it did affect, even though the community might not have seen it, it did affect our service to the community. So having come through that, it was his desire, being a forward thinker that he was, not to let the agency go through a real rough campaign cycle if we could prevent it, and then make sure we could continue our service to our community in a seamless fashion. And I think we've accomplished that.
Have there been some challenges in that transition?
There's always challenges. As a sheriff, there's just things coming at you all the time. Trying to figure out different policy decisions. You know, I have to get my own political footing, figure out exactly where I stand on some issues. You think you know until you're the person that is having to make the final decision. I've always had the sheriff to kind of play that off on. I was a chief deputy. I would make most of the decisions, but the ultimate decision, good or bad, was the sheriff's. I feel that now.
Sheriff, I want to talk a little bit about something that happened a few weeks ago. One of the sheriff deputies and the Bright Line train crossing over on the tracks and, you know, was hit by the train. Right. You came out right away and you said, yep, that was the deputy's fault. You know, they were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. You took full accountability. Is transparency a priority for you in this new role?
That's one of my top priorities, is transparency. Now, keep in mind, that's a good deputy. He does a good job as a deputy. He made a mistake. So on the back side, he did get disciplined. But on the front side, those are taxpayer dollars that got used. It was a nice patrol car. We took care of business. And I think that's what the community wants to see out of their sheriff. If there's an issue, tell us what it is. If things are going good, tell us things are going good. And I think even bad news is important, even if it reflects negatively on me. I do think it's important to get out in front of issues before the gotcha moments. I don't believe in gotcha moments. If there's a gotcha moment, then I made a mistake.
What are some of the other top priorities for you?
Well, we have to look at the growth that's happening in Martin County, not just Martin County, but Palm Beach is continuing to grow, St. Lucie County, and that puts a lot of pressure on us. Calls for service, people moving through Martin County or in Martin County. We've got to grow proportionally with what's taking place in Martin County. So we have to have a thoughtful approach of going to the commission, asking for more positions, and then the other part of that is actually getting those positions filled. Even though they give me the money to fill those positions, hiring and retention is an issue in law enforcement as a whole. So we have to be competitive in our salaries, competitive in what we do benefit-wise with our deputies. So I'm looking at both getting the positions and then filling the positions. We've already started in the last couple of months trying to recruit local talent from out of Martin County. We're taking talent from wherever we can get it, but I do think there's a benefit, and I love the idea of having somebody that grew up in Martin County, they're invested in the community, they're not going anywhere, coming to work for us, and in turn serving the individuals that they've grown up with or going to raise in the future as families.
When it comes to community, how do you want to see yourself and also sheriff deputies out there just kind of reassuring the public that they are safe and building that relationship between community and law enforcement? Because in the past few years, we have seen a decrease in that.
We've seen a decrease holistically in law enforcement, but Sheriff Snyder had good footing in the community. And I'm going to do the same thing. That's part of why we're having this conversation today, is to connect with our community. However that looks, through the media, through social media, through going to different functions. To give you an example of what I'm trying to do personally is I'm trying to balance being the sheriff, running the sheriff's office, then going to the nonprofit events. I'm speaking at an HOA tonight, tomorrow night. So I'm trying to connect, and with me connecting, I can connect the deputies to these different nonprofits that are in their zone or that are connected to something they have going in their careers. So again, back to having local talent coming up, knowing your community is key to us. We can solve so much more crime. We can prevent crime by working together and communicating with our community. That's all part of our efforts to get the messages out.
All right, Sheriff, thank you so much. We're going to continue our conversation with Sheriff Budensiek this morning. A hot topic, immigration. That's coming up next.
WPBF 25 first warning weather, most accurate for 12 years.
Once upon a time, Goldilocks took out the Ram 2500 Rebel. Next, he tried the Ram Charger. Then finally, the Ram RHO. And they were all just right.
Right now, during Ram Truck Month, well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Quad Cab for $369 a month. See your South Florida Ram dealer today.
I'm Jill Hazu.
And I'm Erin Burns.
We invite you to join us this Sunday for Total Retirement with Ernie Burns, where we'll discuss wealth management, estate planning, and more.
Ernie was named 2022's Forbes Best In-State Security Professional. You don't want to miss it.
You go from one place to another, and then keep going. That's why AutoNation Cadillac is here to keep you on the go. Drive new Cadillac Lyriq models with only 2.9% financing. Go to AutoNation Cadillac today.
Experience the thrill of Barrett-Jackson, April 24 through 26 at the South Florida Fairgrounds. Hundreds of no-reserve collector cars will cross the auction block, each one selling to the highest bidder. Explore the vibrant exhibitor marketplace and interactive sponsor displays. Savor a variety of dining options and feel the adrenaline rush with high-speed thrill rides and hot laps. It's an action-packed event for the whole family. Advance tickets are on sale now for the world's greatest collector car auctions in Palm Beach at barrettjackson.com.
Style, selection, a lifestyle unlike any other, a reflection of you. Enjoy the elegance and beauty of Tommy Bahama and let Bear's design team help you create the home you've always wanted. When you want the best, shop the largest Tommy Bahama retailer. There's no place like Bear's.
Hurry into the Nissan Now sales event to save on an award-winning new Nissan, like Kicks, J.D. Power's most dependable small SUV, Sentra, a Consumer Reports top pick, and Rogue, a Consumer Guide Best Buy 11 years in a row. All for under $30,000 at the Nissan Now sales event. Now get a low $249 per month lease or get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
Welcome back. We continue our conversation this morning with Martin County's new sheriff, John Budensiek. Sheriff, again, thank you for being here with us this morning. I want to shift our attention now to immigration and the deportations being carried out by the Trump administration. Governor Ron DeSantis has talked about wanting to form a strong partnership between law enforcement and ICE. What does that partnership look like for the Martin County Sheriff's Office?
This is a long, complicated conversation, but we are in to help the federal government carry out their initiatives. Keep in mind, there was two parts of the initiatives that should have been in place regardless of the president's Democrat or Republican. And that was on, we have a maritime border here in Florida, so we were a part of operations stopping drugs and illegals from coming into the country. And then really where we're the most beneficial to this process is from our jail. As individuals come into our jail, we realize they're illegal. They should have been being deported post their sentence being run. Those two programs are now back up and running, and they're running well. So that's something that is a service to our community that we're proud to do. The other part that Governor Ron DeSantis is pushing on right now is getting our deputies the ability to actually serve some of these civil warrants that are out there. They're not criminal warrants. So we can't physically take them to our jail based on our current system, the way it's set up. So we are getting deputies certified through a federal program where they can serve those civil warrants as they run across these, right now, 1.4 million illegals that already have deportation orders.
And what are we talking about here? What does this look like? Are deputies out there actively looking for people? Is this something that they happen to come across? What does a picture like that look like?
Day to day, the deputies are responsible for answering their calls for service. We do operations with Border Patrol, HSI, ERO, all those federal agencies. So we do planned operations with them. Right now, we're targeting criminal illegal aliens, meaning they came into the country illegally, but they've committed crimes on top of that. Again, what we see the most and where we're the most beneficial is as we arrest criminals in Martin County and they go in our jail and we realize they're illegals, they get shipped out. We've already shipped 47 out of our jail in the last 2 months, and we have 50 more waiting to go out of our jail. So that's where we are most key in this process.
So let me ask you a question. If we are talking about someone who, let's say, because I know that the Trump administration, we'll get more into this, talked about violent criminals, but it's definitely not just violent criminals. If we're talking about someone who committed murder, how does that person get out even in the first place, whether or not they entered the country legally or illegally?
Someone that commits murder, for the most part, will never get out of jail. They're going to come to our jail, they're going to leave our jail and go to prison. They're going to serve their sentence. Normally it's a life sentence here in Florida. Those individuals are not getting out of jail. It's the lesser crimes they're lesser than murder, but burglaries, even on down to driving while license suspended, the crimes where they will run their course in our jail that are getting removed from our jail and actually deported out of the country.
So like we said, you know, I know when President Trump took office, we were talking, even during the campaign, he was always talking about violent criminals, people who committed crimes here in the United States. But that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing people who are in this country, hardworking, just trying to provide for their family, live that American dream, also being detained and deported. What do you say to the families in Martin County who are scared or maybe feel like they can't even go about their daily life continuing on to build what they want here in the United States?
Well, I think we got to go back to President Trump has said unequivocally that he's going to deport all illegals. But we started with the criminal aliens. The violent side of that, we've gone through, the Martin County Sheriff's Office has gone through the list of people that have been in and out of our jail and should have been deported in the last 4 years. And we have about 100 individuals that we've worked with the Border Patrol and ERO to track down and arrest. I understand the worry that's going on in the county. I can't help the fact that they're here illegally. But if they commit a crime on top of that, drive while your license is suspended, what we're seeing a lot now is people leaving the scene of crashes that if they had just stayed there would probably just gotten a ticket, but they leave because they think they're going to get deported as a result of it. If they had followed the law, as far as the Martin County Sheriff's Office is concerned, today they would probably be okay. But again, if they're hanging out with somebody that's wanted by Border Patrol or ERO, which we see a lot, they call it collateral damage. They go after one guy, and we've been seeing that, and there's 5 other people in the van, they're likely to get wrapped up with them and deported. So I can't give them a word of encouragement to relax their fears. If they're here illegally, they need to find a mechanism to either get their paperwork squared away here or self-deport and then come back. It's my understanding if they do self-deport, they get priority to come back, and then it gives them status in the country. I see the other side of it. I see where the illegals have been victims here in Martin County for years and years and years. They get robbed, they're afraid to report.
They're scared to speak
They,
up, yeah.
Yeah, you have sexual assaults, they're afraid to speak up. That's been going on since I've been a deputy. I started almost 28 years ago. So that's not a new issue. It would be hugely beneficial if they had status, that they lived out in the open, they had ID, they paid taxes, and of course didn't commit crime. It would be hugely beneficial. So.
What do you think this process looks like moving forward? Because, we're talking about status, we're talking about filing paperwork, but
Right.
things are going to be tied up in the courts right now for so long. You have millions of people and backlogs right now, in the courts because of everything going on.
They're going to have to streamline the process on the federal side. Right now, they're still focusing on criminal aliens, not violent criminal aliens, just criminal aliens. So it's our understanding that the jails are currently full. And by the way, there's only so many certified jails where these people with deportation orders can go to. So this has been an evolution of phone calls and legal research, but in the last couple of days, we learned that if we were to take somebody into custody that had a deportation order, we could not legally put them in our jail. We have to take them either down to Chrome or a detention facility across the state. So there's a lot of legal hurdles, there's a lot of learning as we go that us sheriffs are trying to wrap our heads around and make sure that we follow the law. Make sure we follow what Governor DeSantis has set in play, make sure we're working in the parameters of the federal law. But
And
again,
also protecting the community and doing what deputies are supposed to be doing as well.
well, that's where I was going to double back. Our number one job is day-to-day calls for service. Like, we're not taking the whole sheriff's office offline and chasing illegals. We're going to do our part, but our part really primarily is the jail. Somebody gets arrested, they come in the jail, it's deemed they're illegal, then we help facilitate the process of turning them over to Border Patrol.
All right, Sheriff, thank you. We continue our conversation with Sheriff John Budensiek right after this.
Steinger, Green, and Finer.
Steinger, Green, and Finer won my case, and I got $300,000.
Involved in a car accident? Call Steinger, Green, and Finer. 1-800-561-1111.
Chaos and Kindness is back with an all-new season.
We're here to make you happy.
Join us as we travel the country in search of ways to help those who need it most.
No, I need this big time.
Don't miss this epic new season, streaming now on Very Local.
Oh, what is that musty smell?
Oh, damp.
Damp. Oh, damn.
Hey, language.
Damp-Rid traps excess moisture to eliminate musty smells. Get rid of the damp with Damp-Rid.
We always loved cooking, and we found a restaurant that let us get in with no business background. Then one customer came along, put us on TikTok, and the next night there was about 300 cars in line.
To be able to have 28 employees and everybody's paid well, it just makes us feel so much more accomplished that we can take our team and have them grow with us.
We wanted to build a legacy, and that's exactly what we're doing on TikTok.
The City Mattress Red Dot clearance is on.
The Marcus Neuroscience Institute was formed by the vision of Bernie and Billy Marcus to make sure that members of our community had access to world-class care for problems that affect the nervous system. Our caregivers are exemplary in their ability to feel a patient, know what the whole patient needs, providing the type of care that makes patients better. It changes lives, and there really is no greater incentive or reward than that.
So what makes Ox Floors different? There's no middleman. When you choose Ox Floors, you get the manufacturer. You get the design team, you get our installers, and no subcontractors. And you get our customer service team. And Ox Floor coatings are made right here in Florida. Garages, patios, pool decks, and more. Ox Floors has thousands of satisfied customers that bought factory direct and saved. And you can too. Go to oxfloors.com to save 30% on your next floor coating project.
Steinger, Green, and Finer.
Steinger, Green, and Finer got me a settlement which was completely life-changing and one of the biggest blessings I could ever wish for.
Call Steinger, Green, and Finer. 1-800-561-1111.
Thank you for staying with us. We continue our one-on-one sit-down with Martin County Sheriff John Budensiek. Sheriff, I want to go back to talking about the community. Last year, even before you took the position as sheriff, you were in favor of sharing criminal data with residents and the department holding civilian intel meetings. So what's the goal of these kind of meetings, and what have you seen come out of them?
Well, to clarify, we cannot share criminal history, so we got to be careful with that. But what we see in Martin County is we've been extremely successful engaging our community with our issues. Coming out telling them we're having this crime trend that may affect you, or there's something that you may have going on that we don't know about that you need to tell us about. So we found it beneficial to bring in our community, good, bad, or indifferent, and tell them what's going on. They live in the community every day. The deputies, they work a zone, they come and go. But the people that live in our community, they know their community better than anyone. They can help us solve crimes or prevent crimes, hopefully, before they even happen. We've seen a huge benefit, again, of connecting, working together as a team. We are a team. We're not just the Martin County Sheriff's Office that floats around over here. We work with our community. We're a team together.
And what about technology? I know you talked about wanting to implement new technology in the department.
We're building the infrastructure for technology. And I'll be careful how I say it because I don't want to compromise what we have, but technology really is the key to solving crimes in the future. We're spending money to get analysts up and running, certified. We started a digital forensics unit that cracks devices with a search warrant, but helps solve crime after it happens. So they've been extremely successful, both the analysts and our digital forensics unit. And then we work extremely diligently with the infrastructure we have. That's how the case with President Trump was solved so rapidly. That was with using our digital infrastructure that we have.
I want to talk a little bit about property taxes before we wrap up this morning, which of course we know property taxes is what funds emergency services here in our communities. They're talking about doing away with them. What is your stance on that? How do you feel about that?
I understand both sides of the argument. I understand the argument of even though your property is free and clear, you're paying to rent it from the government. I understand that. But there has to be funding for your services. For your county services, which includes the Martin County Sheriff's Office, fire rescue, there has to be funding for that. So just abolishing property taxes without a plan is not a good idea for public safety.
Do you think that this is something that could possibly happen, or do you think it's something that's maybe being talked about right now that they'll maybe look into the future so that discussions like the one you're talking about can happen?
Well, you're seeing that discussion pretty regularly in more than one state. I think it's a possibility that it happens. Again, there'll have to be a taxing method or mechanism to get that funding in there. So I'm not sure how the community will see that. If they're not really well educated, I could see them revolting about more taxes, even though there's less taxes. I also understand the idea of sharing the wealth, not just taxing the property owners, but taxing everybody that's spending money. So that's going to be a contentious debate. I'll be curious to see how it works out.
Yeah, lots to talk about. And last question for you this morning, Sheriff. Hurricane season right around the corner. What is the Sheriff's Office doing to kind of just prepare for hurricane season? We saw what happened last hurricane season on the Treasure Coast.
We are determined not to be surprised. We have a robust rapid response team. We've traveled the entire state helping with other hurricane disasters. We had our own disaster with the tornadoes last year. We're already preparing. We already have our board. We know who's going to be where. We have the resources available, meaning things as small as chainsaws and ropes and whatever it takes to cut trees and move trees, to our Bearcat where we can transport injured individuals if necessary. We are as prepared for a hurricane as any agency can be in South Florida. I'm proud of our men and women. They work hard. We've got a lot of experience traveling around and learning from other agencies, so we're as ready as we can be.
Martin County Sheriff John Budensiek, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate you coming in.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
We could tell you what it's capable of. Or you could find out for yourself. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
WPBF 25 News investigates Thursday at 6.
This week on Matter of Fact, becoming home to data centers.
We had no idea what was going to happen.
The pros and cons for communities at the heart of development.
Okay, y'all, we got 10 orders coming in.
Starting a business is never easy, but starting at 8 months pregnant,
that's a different story. I couldn't slow down. We were starting a business from the ground up. People were showing up left and right, and so did our business needs. The Chase e-card made it easy. When you go for something big like this, your kids see that, and they believe they can do the same.
Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase with the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card from Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours.
Don't waste time on your commute. Know what to avoid before you hit the road. Watch WPBF 25 First Warning Traffic. Sponsored by Jetson. Expert advice plus the best price on appliances, electronics, mattresses, and AC.
Life doesn't come with an owner's manual. Freedom is getting to write your own. So get 10% off a Jeep Wrangler. Or get into a Jeep Grand Cherokee, where freedom is on-road or off. Where it's a front row seat to the city. Or a second row seat, maybe even a third. Life doesn't come with an owner's manual, so get out there and write your own.
Right now during the Jeep Celebration event, well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee for $369 a month. See your South Florida Jeep brand dealer today.
My name's Jeffrey Moore. I'm working for an automobile dealership. I was walking through the shop and I slipped and fell on grease and landed on my elbow and damaged my shoulder. I contacted Morgan & Morgan. One, they fight for you without reservation. Two, their efficiency is incredible. And three, the people are just doggone nice. They did all the work. I didn't have to do anything. It's just a matter of a phone call and a couple of emails. Only had to go into the office to go to pick up my check. It was that easy.
We could tell you what it's capable of. Or you could find out for yourself. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Thank you for making us a part of your morning. We encourage you to be part of our discussion every Sunday right here at 10 a.m. We'll see you again next Sunday.